Hey, what's going on, guys? Welcome back to another video by the Last Thoughts blog. And today we are joined by Gills legend and current development coach Mark Patterson. Thank you for coming on, mate.
Welcome.
So we will crack straight on then. Pato, you have been at the club a very, very long time. Can't stay away from the place, can you?
No, can't. I love it here. It's good. Good people.
We'll start right back from when you first joined. You're playing days side from Plymouth.
From Plymouth, yeah.
Talk about how the move come about, what attracted you to Gills and stuff like that.
Well, what happened was I was at Plymouth. I was out of contract, and in those days, it wasn't like it is now, where you had to. It was a free movement, if you like. You could transfer across quite easily. And my contract had run down. I hadn't negotiated a new one with Plymouth, and Plymouth were asking for a transfer fee. So technically, I was in limbo. I wasn't playing for them, and I was just waiting to move because I would love to have stayed at Plymouth at the time because I really enjoyed it. We had a good team, good players, great fans down there. But then Tony was in charge here, Tony Pulis, and I got a call on the Friday afternoon. Would I be interested in coming? And they wanted to sign me before 12 o'clock on the Friday so I could play on the Saturday, but we couldn't get the deal through in time. It wasn't as hard as it is nowadays, but it just was a case of that we didn't run out of time. And then I think it was the next week I came across, met Tony, Lindsay Parsons, had a look round, and the club was nothing like it is now, but there was just a feel of it. There was just a feel that it was just the kind of place where you knew that it's somewhere you want to be. The lads here were all established, Hess, Guy Butters, Paul Ash, people like that, and you were going into an environment where you were working and wanting to be with people who really knew what it was about and who were ruthless in getting what they wanted to, led by Tony, of course. And of course, our current manager, Eddie, was amongst that group, although I think he was probably injured at the time. So that's how it came about. So I signed, and first game was against Millwall. Played out here against Millwall, which was a cracker. And I'll never forget it because half time, Brian Statham was playing left back, and Brian had loved to tackle. Brian, he put his foot in, and he wasn't frightened to put people on the floor. And Tony said at half time, be careful you're tackling because you'll get sent off. 30 seconds in the second half, so off he went. So I think, great. So I ended up going across the left back, and that kind of set the tone for my career here under Tony because I played right back and left back all the time, kept changing, went into midfield a few times, but it was great times, when we first started. And obviously we missed out on the playoffs, reaching the playoffs that season, on the last game of the season. But then obviously after that it was just general steady progression through, and we managed to achieve what we tried over the next few years.
What was it like playing under a manager like Tony Pulis?
Excellent.
Yeah. Excellent.
It really was good. Nothing was left to chance. No stone was left unturned, and I think if you look at people who work with Tony throughout their careers now, that's certainly influenced me. I know he's influenced our manager Eddie now. He's influenced a lot of players who are still in the game by the way that he did things.
So could you tell back then that he would go on and manage at the level he is?
I think he was probably ahead of his time. He was one of those fellas. He would have different times for training. Some of the players would train separately, so it wasn't all a group thing. You'd have the cattle, as he called us, all the ones who did all the hard graft at the back. We'd come in separately to like Sir Carl and Bob and people like that. But it was getting specific training for people. So if you look at that now, that's what a lot of clubs do. He wouldn't think anything of driving up to Wigan on a Tuesday night, watching the game, then coming back and then training the next morning because the ideas were clear in his head. Very, very influential, and very influential on what this club achieved. Right at the beginning, he was the one who turned it round, helped us progress, and started us off on the right foot. And so he was a good fella to work for. Obviously, there was issues with him and the chairman at the end, and whatever happened there, we all know there's been different things said, but on the football side of things, he was excellent, and it was good to work with him.
How good was that? Like you mentioned those names there, Ashby, Butters.
They were crap. Don't believe all the hype.
They're going to watch this now.
They were lazy. They drank too much. They ate too much. Have you ever seen them try and run around a pit? Guy Butters, bloody guy. We had to get 4 sets of shorts welded together to get his arse in them, didn't we?
Oh my god,
great lads.
Great lads. I mean, you mentioned about missing out on that City game. I know so many City fans basically say that that's what made them and stuff like that. How good was it to? We'll talk about it in a positive light. How good was it to bounce back from
I think
that game against City?
Strange, really, because we should have beaten City on the day. We should have beaten them. They were a better team. You know, let's not kid ourselves. That's Man City. Although they were in the same level as us over the current season, they were better. They were better than us. They beat us 2-0 down here towards the end of the season, and they were far better than us. Up there, we drew 0-0 and we got a good draw out of it. But on the day at Wembley, we were the better team, and it was just unfortunate. I mean, obviously the playoffs have just finished, so they've been running the goals around, and no matter where you look, you keep seeing Dickie slamming that one in the top corner, and you keep seeing Kevin Horlock scoring his from 20 yards or whatever. But when you watch them closely, it was meant to be for City, because Darren Carr makes a great tackle and the ball falls to the only place where Kevin Horlock can score. He actually somehow hooks it back. And the second goal, Dickie puts it in the only part of the net where Vinny can't... Well, being honest, if he hit the target, you've got a chance with Vinny in goal, because he couldn't save anything, could he? You know what I mean? He cost us so many games, Vinny. But, you know, it's like... And we often say that went in the point of the net where nobody could get to. So they were destined to go, whereas next season against Wigan were probably better than us. And we got the luck of the draw on the day. You know, that one with Iffy where did it go in, didn't it go in? I think the referee, I don't know if he got it right or wrong, but his decision was it's in. And then we look at what happened with the goals towards the end with Tomo, and he doesn't let us forget that. Never ever lets us forget that. No matter whenever we speak, he reminds us that he was the one that got Gillingham promoted. Not the team, him. It's him.
Are you in contact with, obviously, co-manager AD here now? Are you in contact with a lot of those boys? All of them. Just about all of them, yeah.
Tomo's back up in Scotland. Mark Saunders is back in Exeter. Hodges down in, I think he's in Newquay or somewhere down there. Guy and Ash, who speak regularly. Smudger's back in Essex. There's not many of that team that don't keep in contact. Obviously, Hess is local, Nicky's local. Vinny is working for Southampton, got a great job doing. But we speak regularly. It's not as if it's a one-off thing.
They're out in Thailand at the moment, aren't they?
Yeah, they're playing the final tonight.
Yeah,
playing Iran tonight. So it's I think it sums up what that group of players was like when you look 20 years later, or 15, 18 years, whatever it was, 17 years later, isn't it? That we're still in contact.
Shows just how strong that togetherness
is.
Yeah,
and that's what Tony built.
Yeah.
Tony put the foundations in place for a group of players to not just be friends off the pitch, to work for each other on it. And that's, if you look at all the good teams up and down the country, or up and down the world, you look at the Australian cricket team when they dominated it, they were a team. And you've got to be a team. You can't be separated from your teammates. You can't have players who think they're better than the rest, because it doesn't work. Even when we had Carl and Bob here, although they were treated differently to us by Tony, it was all light-hearted. It was all a bit of fun. It was all like, none of it was like meant. It wasn't digging anybody else. It just, they worked separately to us because he could get the work into them he needed. Whereas, and then he worked with us and did other things that we were doing. So, you know, when you look at the whole of the team and everything like that, it was a good team. We played hard on the pitch, and when off it, we went out and had a drink together. And that's how it was with us. And it still is. But we don't play on the pitch anymore.
Are you surprised, Pat, or not surprised, should I say, that them going up to the Championship, weren't you surprised that that group of players stayed at that level for so long?
I think what we did when we went up, we added real quality. Marlon, Paul Shaw, you know, real quality players came in. So, you know, you look at every single team that gets promoted, when they go up a level, they've got to get better players in. Because the players that get you there, Huddersfield have just gone up. You can guarantee Huddersfield will chop and change that team in the Premier League, because unfortunately they're probably not going to be good enough to stay there. Newcastle will chop and change their team, and but the players that get you there have worked from a lower level to get you that level. When you're at that level, you've got to have players that can keep you there and progress. And we did that with Shaw, outstanding, absolutely outstanding player. Marlon was a tremendous finisher. You know, people like that who came in, Ty Gooden, people like that who were exceptional players who came into the club at different times, at the right time to push the club forward. And that's what has to happen, the continual turnover of players. So you've still got the heart of the team was still there. You know, the players who had the heart and had the passion to get it there. And I don't want to say a little bit more class, but it probably was a little bit more class of player. And Marlon King was one of the best finishers I've played with.
He was class.
Tremendous finisher.
There's surely, Pat, have got to be so many funny stories from...
Yeah, but we're on video, I can't tell you half.
You've got to. Ones that you can say on camera.
One that's suitable.
Oh, God. I don't know. Let me have a think about that. I'll think about it as we're going along.
Yeah.
I can't really think of any that we've had that's probably suitable for anything. Oh, when we're in, I'll tell you a good one. We're in pre-season training as a reward, if you like, for staying in I think it was for staying in the Championship. We went pre-season to Barbados. So we're playing golf. The hotel had a golf course. Myself and Mark Saunders playing against Shoei and Dave Perpetuini. And it was a bit of a grudge match. Mark said to Shoei and Perps, especially Perps, if you ever squeak out, I'm going to break your jaw. So it was a bit of a game like that, which was great because you're on my side, so I was quite happy with that. So we're halfway around this course, and it was just a little 9-hole around the hotel, and all of a sudden we heard this voice shouting, Shoei, Shoei, and I was about to hit my shot. I went, Shoei, Perps is shouting for you. He went, yeah, and I hear, Shoei, again, like, Perps, will you shut up? We're trying to play golf here. Anyway, he says, can somebody come and help us? And he'd gone into the bushes, and as he'd gone through the bushes, he'd gone down a little ramp, and he thought he was walking on the hard ground, but he was actually walking into like swampland. So he'd stepped on it, and he'd start to sink down. So he's gone down, but of course he didn't know how deep it was going to get. And by the time we got him, it was up his neck. So he was actually underneath. John, he was actually down in the swampland, up to his neck, and he was calling for us to help him. And I said, "Why are we shouting so quietly?" He said, "I don't want to shout too loud in case it made us go any deeper." He lost his shoes or whatever he had on his feet. And we were going to leave him there. We thought, great, 2v1, we're not going to lose this. We'll leave you in the swamp, you can get out later on. But that was a funny one. Yeah, Perps, when he went under the swamp.
Oh my God.
He said, I took a step on it, I just went straight down. He said, I didn't know how far I was going to go. I didn't know when it was going to stop or anything.
Moving away from your playing days, you returned back in 2006 for coaching, and that was when the likes of Matt Jarvis were coming through. Just how good was he?
Matt was before me, a little bit before me, but Jarvis was a great player. I mean, you look at what he achieved when he left us, going into the top level and becoming international. So,
did you know he'd reached that level?
It's hard to say. It's hard to say because there's so many good players out there. But he had the ingredients you need. He had the determination. He had the ability. He had the attitude. You know, things that you need to make it at any level of any sport. You've got to have the right attitude. Yeah. And Jarv had that. And the pleasing thing with Matt, and anybody will tell us, he hasn't changed. He's still the same lad. Whenever you see him or speak to him, there's a couple of times you've asked for things from him from West Ham when he was there, and not a problem. Nothing's a problem. So people like Jarv, they get the rewards that they put in, and he deserved everything he got.
Yeah. So, when you returned, obviously in 2006, just tell like our followers, because I mean they just turn up on a Saturday, see the first team, see how it is. What is your day-to-day duties for like the academy and development side?
When I came back, originally I was under-18 manager, and then a role came up as so under-18s, taking the lads around the Southeast leagues, playing teams like Southend, Luton, Orient, Wimbledon, teams like that on a Saturday morning, and that's under-18 football. Then the under-21 job came up, so I took that on, and the first group of players we had there was Bradley Dack, Jake Hess, Nathan Murphy, all these kind of lads, Kane Hazeman. That was the group that we had, and it was really good because we had a dozen of that right age group. So we played 25, 28 friendlies around the county and into London areas, and that was excellent. So we take them on a day-to-day basis of training. So what you had your first team group, you had your under-18s, but you had this middle group of players who were too old for the under-18 academy, but not quite in the first team setup. Gradually they went in, and obviously Dacky and Jake have made a good go at it. And so we used to take them for training, and then the next year we entered the league of the under-21s. But it became a bit of a pain really, because what you found is when you play friendlies, you'd go to say Dagenham, and we'd say to Dagenham, right, we've got 6 under-18s, we've got 3 under-19s, and we've got 1 under-20, and they'd say, okay, we'll put the same. When you play in the league, we have sometimes going up against first team players. Went down to Bournemouth. It was quite funny really, and it had been absolutely bucketing down. And I mean, when I say hammering down, this is the first thing that's ever happened to me in the only time. We turned up and we warmed up on one pitch. We played the first half on another pitch and the second half on another pitch because it was that wet. But what had happened was, as we pulled into the car park, the kids or the lads in the back were saying, "Oh look, there's a Ferrari, there's a Lamborghini, BMW, this," and I'm thinking, under-18 players don't drive them kind of cars. So I'm thinking, I know what's coming here. So I got there, and the lad who runs in Perch, he's a good lad. He said, "Mark, the manager's asked us to play some of the senior players." I went, "How many?" He said, 8. I went, "Good ones?" He went, "Yeah, they're going to play in the first team on Saturday against Portsmouth in the Cup." Oh, great, wonderful. So we had a team of under-19s and 20s. I say we played all over the training ground, 3 different pitches, and it finished, I think we lost 4-3 in the end. It was one of the best games. Grabban was playing, Josh King was playing, all these players, and it was tremendous. But that's a rarity. We went to Southend, and they did the same thing. They played 8 of their first team, and we lost 8-0. because our oldest player was 18. We actually played well, but you can't ever turn around and say, "Oh, we've done well," because you've lost 8-0. Nobody listens to you. Only people see is the score. They don't see the fact that these are experienced first team players playing against a team of 17 and 18-year-olds.
Did you know them, Pat? Because I know I've watched a few development games and stuff like that when Daki was in that development side, and I know he used to hit 25, 26 goals, and you played him in the number 10.
Yeah.
Did you know then how good Brady Dack was going to be?
Again, it's very difficult. I mean, when Martin took over, straight away Martin elevated him into the first team squad because he came in and saw something straight away that he wanted to encourage, and look what happened. You know, it was right. Yes, you're hopeful, but you never know, because sometimes you get players who develop at a young age and they become, as really young players, they look outstanding. By the time they get to 13, 14, they're not the same player, and then they fall away and don't make it. By the same score, you get some who come in a little bit later, who might be a little bit weaker, might not be as quick as somebody else, but they've got something. And whatever that something is, might just be what gets them to a certain level. So it's very much, it's not an exact science, and we do get it wrong, and every single academy manager up and down the country will tell you the same thing. We make mistakes. We do make mistakes because you're having to judge people on the here and the now. And yes, if you've got your under 21s, under 23s, you keep them on a little bit longer. But that's what the big clubs do, because they can afford to. Clubs like us, we can't afford to keep a player here, a 22-year-old who's not in the first team. They've got to be in the first team. There's no point being here if you're not going to play. So we don't have any of those players now. Those players, when I say we don't have them, we have them in the first team squad. But if you go to your Tottenhams and your Arsenals and your Man United, they've got players who are 22-year-old, never been near a first team, but because they can afford to do it. You know, so it's a difficult job to, or not a difficult job. It's a great job. It's a difficult. The decision making is hard.
Does that frustrate you when you see that, Pat? When the likes of like Chelsea, like
40 players on loan,
let 40 odd players go on loan, and
it's just wrong.
Well, I see it this morning. Apparently, going into next season, they've got 90 players on their books.
Yeah, 90 players. Probably don't even know them all. You know, how can you manage those 90 players? When we had who did we have last year from Chelsea? Can't think of his name now. Jordan Norton. Yeah. And he had a mentor, if you like, who used to come down, was Paulo Ferreira, the old fullback. That was his mentor. So he used to come and watch him and train and sit in the office and just to keep on top of him. So they employ people just solely to watch how the on-loan players are doing, which is great. You know, I think it's great. They look after them. But Jordan Houghton never really got near their first team, and unfortunately, he was a good player.
Yeah,
they're littered with them up there.
I think I've just given him a new deal though.
Oh, he's not been near the first team. Sorry.
Yeah, it's just given him a new deal, and I think, well, I very much doubt you're going to like not being horrible, but you're not going to break into like when like Fabregas is in that midfield and stuff like that.
Not at the minute, but obviously that's good. They must see something in him to think, you know, because he's a good player. But again, the one thing that Jordan had, which was outstanding, was a fantastic attitude. Fantastic attitude. And you can tell when players have played at a good club. And what we say a good club is, you can tell the ones who've been at the top when they've been brought up at your big clubs, because their attitude and the way they conduct themselves. John Egan was outstanding. Came from Sunderland. Unfortunately, came from Sunderland. Speaking as a Newcastle fan, that's really hard for him. But coming from Sunderland, John was a first-class professional. The way he conducted himself, the way he dealt with people, the way he was with people around the building, in the streets, all that kind of stuff. First class.
You speak about the different academies, Pato, and it's been often said that Gills have got one of the best academies in this country. It's been well documented. How good does that feel from yourself that the academy has progressed and players have gone through? And
I think it's great to hear, but it's because I'm involved and Brian Bull's involved. There's a lot of people below us who do it from the grassroots, who bring the players through, who are out scouting this morning for the 8 and 9 and 10 year olds that'll be the next Dackies and JKS and people like that. So it's great because that's how we have to do it. That is how we do it here. That's Gillingham. We can't afford to go out and spend £500,000 on players to get in the first. It doesn't happen. Any club at our level, it doesn't happen. So how are you going to do it? It's by getting the right players in at the start and getting them in through the door and keeping them. Because we find here, when we get the young players come to this club, we get them the feeling like Nolan Ball was released by, or he was at Orient and he was at Charlton, and Nolan ended up with us. And once we get them here, they tend to stay. And the thing is with them, when they come through the door, we tell them, look, there's no airs and graces with us. This is how we do it. These are the rules. These are regulations. You abide by them, or you're off. That's it. No halfway house, because there's too many players out there now who think they make the rules. And we have a thing all the way through the academy of, it's not ruling by fear, it's about there's things that are right, things that are wrong, and how can we get to the point where we can get you from this training area on that main pitch out there.
Yeah.
Because when you go on there and you've got 10,000 people, and when you go to places like Wolves, like we did, and all these places, Blackburn next season, they're screaming at you, you can't afford to be ill-disciplined. You've got to be focused. Yes, people are going to get sent off and they're going to do silly things, but what we try and do is get the discipline side of it into them as young players, so that when they get on the pitch there, they understand what it's about, and they understand what it means to represent a club like us.
Talking of knowing though, like when do you know an academy player is ready to go into that first team?
What we try and do is we've got a good process. We had a great process with Stimo and the lads there. Justin was excellent with it, taking them in for training all the time. Adie's the same, he includes them in training. So what we do over their 2-year period is we drip them into the first team training. So they'll go in, might be the first day of pre-season, might be the first week of December, they go in and train with the team, and then they get involved in that way, and they're playing occasional friendlies and they're playing occasional practice games. And then that means then they're getting used to the environment, because the biggest problem for the young players is when they go into that environment, all of a sudden they're going in with players who they've seen, but they might not necessarily know that well. Massive step for them. So what we do is we push them in there and the manager might say, right, this morning I want to take 3 centre-halves, so all 3 centre-halves will go across. Or I want 3 of your forwards. So Noel would have gone, Bradley, Stevenson, people like that, they'd go in there. And then some of them sink or some swim. Some can do it, some can't. And we've had players who've been outstanding as under-18s, but they just cannot get across that gap. It's too much for them. And others who, when they go and train with the first team, different players. So that's how we gauge them. We also send them out on loan to a lot of Ryman South teams and Ryman Premier teams, and they go and play on loan for a month while still training with us. Which is a big test for them. Going back to Bradley, Dark and Jake, they were at Ramsgate, the two of them, and they loved it, absolutely loved it. So we've had a good link with Ramsgate over the years, but all the lads have been out. We try and get all of our second year scholars out at least once.
We're sort of doing the same with Tom Hadler, aren't we?
Tom's been out with a hip injury, but I'm not sure what Tom's going to be doing next season. I mean, he was on the bench a lot this year, but he was at Tunbridge. Somewhere else, where else did he go? He went to a few places, and he did really well over at Tunbridge. But it's not, when they go out on loan, we're not really concerned about how they play to a certain degree, more about how they conduct themselves. How are they around the training ground? How are they around the rest of the players?
Yeah, because they're kind of showing. They're
representing us.
Yeah, they're representing us.
Representing us. Yeah, they are. And I go and watch them on loan, and they might have a stinker. As long as I see them trying and fitting in, because not everybody plays well. It can't happen. But if you show the right attitude, it goes back to attitude again. It goes back to commitment, to try and do the right thing, and respect your teammates and prepare to work. And that's why we send them out and say, go on, get out there, go and get kicked, go and sit along some side somebody who's been fitting kitchens all day and who's on 50 quid a week. That's how it is.
Yeah.
And when you play the game, and if you come in afterwards and he gets beaten, he's not going to be happy.
Yeah.
Whereas people keep telling me, you hear it all the time, it's not about results. Well, yeah, I tend to agree, but it's the best habit ever, as a winning mentality. So how can we have a player who's an under-18 training with me on a Saturday morning, we lose 3-1 at Wimbledon, and then I'm thinking in my mind, well, is it about the results? On the Tuesday, he could be in the first team out here, and it is about results. So they've got to understand that to go from where we are to there, they've got to be able to deal with it, really. They've got to be able to deal with it, not about how they can get around it. They've got to be able to accept that it's hard knocks. People are going to be horrible to you. People are going to want to criticise you. People are going to want to put you down. You've got to be able to stand up to it. And that's the main thing that the psychological corner of our young players is a major part of sending them out on loan.
So as a club then, Pat, do we make sure that your boys will set up exactly the same as the first team?
Not necessarily. No. Some clubs do that. A lot of clubs have said, it's a question we always ask the manager when he comes in, do you want us to play the same way? But it's not possible at times because we haven't got the same players. So a first team manager might sign 3 centre-halves because you won't play that. We may have 2 centre-halves and a full-back who plays centre-half. So it's hard. What we try and do is we try and make sure they understand all formations. So at some period during this season, we'll have done 3 centre-halves, 4 full-back, 4 across the back, 4-3-3, 3-5-2, 4-4-1-1, whatever. So they've got an understanding of everything that they want to do. Doesn't always, it's not exact because there might be different people in wrong areas, but you've got to be flexible. Again, at a club like us, players need to be flexible. If this player is just a left winger or just a right winger, well, it's going to be hard for them. If they can play right side of midfield, centre forward, left side of midfield, more flexibility, better use to the team. You know, and they're the little things that we try to encourage. We want them to be good players in their positions, but also have an understanding of the other positions as well, if we can.
One I wanted to ask you about in terms of how you think he's going to do. Obviously, just signed a new contract. It's Greg Cundall, because he's been at the club for as long as I can remember. He's been around, and he is one. He's had quite a few successful loan spells out at fairly decent level as well.
Very good finisher, Greg. He's a very technical finisher. He's not one who's likely to get it and smash it in from 25 yards, but he's the one in the box when it comes to side foot in the bottom corner. And clever player, very clever, Greg. He was unfortunate as a scholar. Excuse me. He was unfortunate as a scholar because he got injured. He had a knee injury. He was out for about, I think he was probably out for about 5 months. So in effect, he missed all of his second year of his scholarship. But then he came and he went on loan. One of the reasons was, can he put up with it? Can he deal with it? And he did. He's been a bit unfortunate with the first team because he got close a few times and then other players were ahead of him. But the manager likes Greg and we like him. We think he's got ability. We think he's a good footballer, but he's also good. He understands the game. He's one of those players that he takes up good positions. And again, a chance, you know. But how do you get a chance? You got to be doing the job properly. So he needs to score goals. You know, he's one of those players when he's playing. Yes, he's a link-up player and he's as good as a 10, but he's a good finisher. You won't see him lash wildly at the ball. He's one who can play some bit like, coming back to what we said earlier, Bob Taylor was like that.
So when they get that pro contract, so the Greg Cundall, Nyland Bowe, Brad, will they solely now come 1st of July, be with the first team, or will they come back sometimes with you?
First team. Well, occasionally they might come with us, just if there is say there's, for whatever reason, there's something going on and the first team or the actual first team are doing something, and the manager might take the 18s across to play against the first team and I might take the other lads. But the way it works is once they're finished with us, that's it. Because again, if you're that player and you've signed a pro contract, you don't be training with me because you're a professional, huh? So I'll look after the younger ones. So in my mind as well, I don't want them. We've had our time. You finish with us, off you go. Go and stand on your own 2 feet in that group over there, because they've gone from being the top end of our group to the bottom end of that group. Go and get on with it. You know, that's what you want to do. Go and do it. And it's a lot of people think it's quite funny how my attitude towards that. But I think, well, there's no point you being with me because I know you well, you know me well, but that's your group. You're a first team squad player now. Get in there. And the occasions they will train with me is when it's different situations, but very, very rarely. I might take them for games and things. You know, if there's friendlies, I might be running the team. But the manager's great with that, and Justin was excellent with it. They're pros. They train with us, and and it's good for them as well because then they can see the stepping stone from academy into first team squad or senior role.
You did have a bit of a different role for a while at Jules. How did you find being part of that gang of 4?
Well, it was gang of 3 and a bit, and I was the bit, I think. It was because when Peter left on, I think it was New Year's Eve, wasn't it? Was it New Year's Eve?
Yeah, it was.
New Year's Eve. Peter left on New Year's Eve. We were down the training ground, and Darren came down. Darren Hearn told us, but I'd been feeling rough for a few days, and it wasn't anything to do with drink and nothing like that. And then came in New Year's Day, but I went home and I was off for 5 or 6 days. So we had a meeting on New Year's Eve, and Hesse was obviously the more senior one of the staff, so Hesse was obviously going to do it, and the chairman's remit was to us, can you get on with it? Basically, get on with it. Fair enough. But there was a lot of senior people there. There was Steve Lovell, there was Darren, there was myself, and I was the junior of the 4, if you like. But there was also the teams that had to be continued with. So what we decided to do was that we would, as a 4 of us, would be included in it, but I would kind of take a backward step and look after the younger ones and continue doing that while they dealt with the senior roles, because there's no, I said when we talked, I didn't see the point in having 4 of us doing that, because the other players that we talk about, the development of younger players, they need to be looked after. So I did enjoy it, it was good, but you know, I wasn't necessarily, I didn't go to the games with the first team because I was working here with the younger ones, but it's good to see that side of it. But the one thing this club's always had is there's always been an open door with the manager. Mark Stimson, I go back to Stimo when he was here. Who was that? Justin, obviously, his door was always open. There was never a us and them situation. So it was great because we always had easy dialogue about players and informal chats over coffee, sitting up here, sitting in the office, sitting downstairs. about who's doing what and who's going where. So, you know, it was just really a continuation of that. And then obviously Justin came in and people reverted back to what they were doing. So.
Yeah. What were your thoughts on last season? You know, staying up on last day.
Hard work.
Yeah.
It was a shame because somebody said it halfway through the season, and I can't think who it was. They talked about the players being in the right position and the right players for the job, but it just didn't happen. And I think that's a good way of putting it. And what sums it up is you go back to the first day of pre-season, Aaron Morris snapped his knee ligament 20 minutes into training session unopposed. And that set the tone really. You cannot legislate for that. No matter what people say, Aaron Morris was an integral part of this team at this club. Yeah, and you know what you're going to get from him.
He's class.
Great lad.
He's class.
He's going to be a fullback. He's going to be a midfield. He can play a centre half. But he's out. Finished.
So underrated as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So from July the 1st, when I say finished, I don't mean finished, because if Aaron reads this, he'd be in tears thinking I'm saying he's finished. But what I mean is he can't play. So that for a season he's gone. Straight away then you've got that's one major player missing. And if you look,
Brad as well.
Yeah.
Fullback.
Yeah, and you look at them all and you think, great, Moses,
Carter, you said about Justin being class and stuff like that. At the start of the season, it was well documented that the players that he was bringing in, J. Emmanuel Thomas, Jamie Harrow later on, Wagstaff. Do you think, looking at those signings from afar now, do you think that they were the wrong signings, or
No.
do you think that
just didn't happen?
no?
I think it just didn't. I think they were the right signings. I think they were good players. J. Emmanuel Thomas was the best player at our level when Bristol City won the league by a country mile. Not even close. Daki was the best player in our league last year. So in the last 2 years or 3 years, we had two of the best players in the league. So you're not talking about players who are running the mill. You're talking about the best in the league as voted by managers and players. J. Emmanuel Thomas on the ball out here sometimes was fantastic.
Yeah.
But it just didn't happen. Waggy got knocks. Jamie wasn't fit enough. You know, he picked up injuries and it was unfortunate because when he did play, you could see the quality was there. Great players. You don't play at the level them lads have played at if you can't play. And like I just said earlier, Aaron Morris getting injured on the first day of pre-season. You can't legislate for
Bad luck.
Bad luck.
Yeah.
You can't legislate for luck. People say, oh, I have read a lot of times we're not doing this, we're not doing that, we're not doing the other. It just didn't happen. You go back the year before and it happened. We were flying along for 6 months and then all of a sudden things changed. Every club has an up period, every club has a down period. And I think last season was just one of those seasons where no matter which way Justin and Dave and turned and tried to get things, it didn't work. And, you know, it just happened. It's hard to explain, you know. It's hard to turn around and actually say why it happened because you don't know. You can't say why it happened. Clubs go through the whole season, don't get injuries. Nobody gets sent off, nobody gets this. Don't score, concede on goals. But last season things went against us. And in the end, we got away with it, and there's no other better way of saying it. We got away with it because we finished on the last day of the season, ironically, with a 0-0 draw, which was
the only one.
the only one.
Yeah.
And
We had a few good moments here as well. Cody
Brilliant. Those
Cody
two
against
goals.
Bristol took it upon himself. So if you look back at it, kept us up,
Yeah,
didn't
did.
he?
Yeah, did.
Really?
Josh's hat trick.
Yeah.
Three
Josh's hat trick as well.
I've never seen anything like that in my life, but you just knew it was going to happen.
I mean, Cody with his new deal.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think it's vital that we keep Cody McDonald at this football club?
I honestly have no idea what Cody's doing. I don't know what's going on because I've been away. I don't get involved with anything that the senior side do. So Adi said that all I know is that they've been made an offer. I couldn't say any more than that. I don't know. Whatever Cody does, Cody's a first class lad. Great around here, great with the younger players. Attitude is first class on the pitch.
He's been unreal here as well.
Yeah.
That won't be forgotten.
No, I mean, I say I don't know. He might be here, he might not be. I couldn't say, fellas, so I don't know what the situation is. But whatever he does, if he stays, great. If he goes, he's been good for this club. And the club has been good for him. He's been good for us as well.
Adi said before he got the job that he put a 2-year plan to the chairman about getting back to the championship. As a club as a whole, do you think it's maybe vital or important that we do get back to that level? Because I often think, and I've often said in interviews and chats with like the boys and that looking around the place and the club and that, it's a championship football club.
Yeah, it is. I mean,
do you think it's vital or?
I don't think it's vital. I think it would be great if we do it, but I don't think it's vital. It's not like we're talking about and I hope people don't take this wrong. It's not like we're talking about what you class as a big club, like a Man City, for example.
Yeah.
That was vital they got promoted then, because they were what's classed as a big club. Gillingham will never be classed as a big club. Never. In the eyes of the footballing world, Gillingham are not a big club, because we are where we are. And yes, if we can get up, absolutely brilliant, because we showed we can do it. Again, bigger crowds, better teams, better players. But is it the end of the world if we don't get there? No, but we're going to bloody try to get there, that's for sure. We're going to have a go to get there, but it's not the end of the world, because you can't. There's other factors. There's other teams. It's like last year. You look at the squad of players we had last year. Everybody was hopeful we'd be at the top end of the table, but for reasons we spoke, that didn't happen.
Yeah.
So I don't think it's vital, but I think it would be great if we did. And you know, you look at the teams now our level next season, some big clubs. But if we get this place like it can be, they're not going to go play here. They don't want to come down here. It's not easy pickings. Come and fight for what you get down here, like it's always been.
A lot of northern sides travelling down here next season.
Yeah. Loads of them now. It's like
Yeah.
the Northern League again, isn't it?
Yeah.
There's some travelling here. Fleetwood and Blackpool, and now obviously down to Plymouth again. They're on the up.
It looks a much more competitive league next year.
I think so.
You can't. I don't think you can look at one team and think they're going to run away with it.
Yeah. You think back a couple of years, there was 2 or 3 teams you knew were going to be the top end.
Yeah.
But I'm not sure now. I mean, who could it be this year? I don't know. Could it be Scunthorpe? Has he obviously got a bit of money behind him? Could they be the top team? I don't know. But we'll just see. Blackburn, maybe.
Just for some Gills fans with the development side. Next season, obviously, Niall and Bowen, Braden and stuff like that gone to the first team. You've got a new crop of players.
Mm-hmm.
Just for the followers and the fans, anyone to watch out for that might be pushing.
Yeah.
Niall Bowe's already got his song.
No, I've had his song with Noel this year a few times. He's a good lad, no? He's a good lad, but he's I think sometimes I kept reading that Noel should be in the first team and Noel should be doing this and Noel should be doing that, and I don't think that was fair on him, because he was 18. He's a young 18 as well. He was only 18 in March. He's one of the younger ones, and although he's got this big imposing figure, he's quite a quiet lad, and he's not an outspoken person. He's very he's a really nice lad, and I think sometimes it's unfair when outside agencies are saying this player should be in the team and he should be playing. There's reasons why players like that don't get in the team. Yeah. And at that time, he made the squad great. Unfortunately, didn't get on, but that's part of his learning. If Noel goes in the first team against, say, Millwall in that game at the end of the season, and he's on and he's marking Beavers, for example, and Beavers scores, straight away it's Noel's fault. Yeah. And that's not the situation young players need to learn in. If we're mid-table, brilliant, get them on, let them have 10 minutes at the end. And if Beavers scores, yeah, you're going to get a ball again, but it's not the end of the world, because we're not going to go down. Whereas if you football can damage young players very early on, because they put them in too early, and they're not up to the whole rigours of the game and the demands of the game, and not physically, mentally as well. So that's one of the reasons why some clubs, and us included, don't play some of the younger players in those kind of games. Now I know he wouldn't have had a problem if he needed to use them, he would have put them on. But it's at times you protect them a little bit as well. But they've got a chance. I mean, they have got a chance because I think they've come through the right way. They've come through from a club like us, where little things like Noel occasionally turns up with tape around his wrist for training. He got a bad wrist. No, what you got tape on for? So you say, well, yeah, you've seen it on telly. Get it off. Take it off. No, I'm not having it. Yeah. The manager once said to me years ago, or not to me, to a friend of mine in the team. He'd come in and he had his hair shaved. A fella called Arthur Cox at Derby. Remember Arthur Cox? And I love Arthur Cox because Arthur Cox signed Kevin Keegan for Newcastle. Now that's a good signing when I was a young kid. And my mate had his hair cut. And the manager said to him, if you want to be different, score goals. Simple. Yeah. If you want to be different, score goals. Don't be different because you've got tape on or you've done this. If you want to be different, go and do your job. And that stuck with me forever. And I say to the lads, if you want to be different, do your job. And it's all a bit of tongue-in-cheek jest, a little bit of fun with them, but they know that we don't wear gloves, the youngsters in training in the winter. We don't wear tracksuit bottoms. No, get on with it. It's only cold, it's only snow, it's not going to kill you. You'll be alright. So these things are about developing their developing their attitude and developing them as people. And we have a bit of fun about it, and some of the lads don't like it, but they've got an option. They either put the tracksuit bottoms on and the gloves on and they do press-ups all day, or they keep them off and we go training. So most of them to keep them off and we go training.
Lastly, Pat.
Sorry, just to answer that question about the younger ones below that. We've actually got a good group. We've got 10 second-year scholars next year, who we feel for different. We've got a couple of fullbacks, a couple of centre halves, who we feel have got a chance. Henry Arnold was fortunate; he got in the first team squad last pre-season and played up at Dartford. And to a slight degree, we feel that might have hindered him a little bit early on in the season because he got put in that situation to play because there was nobody else at the time. And that's not a slur on him, just needed a cover, so he took him. And he did really well in his 20 minutes or half an hour, whatever it was he played. But it had an impact on him because he admitted himself that he actually felt that for a few weeks afterwards that he was half looking at the first team thinking, am I going to be going training over there again and not training with us? So he didn't focus fully. So just talking about the impact it has on players, it had a little bit of an impact on him. But he's got a chance because he's a good fullback. Danny Devine on the other side again, he's an imposing fullback. And we've got two centre halves in there, Ryan Huckle and Jack Tucker, who could become and come through. One's a good footballer, one likes to kick people. So if you mix
them, didn't you?
Yeah, you kind of go without them. If you get them, if they were one person, they'd be in the first team. But unfortunately, they're not. So we've got. But again, I mean, you look through the whole group. There's a couple of midfield lads who, one of them was out for a long period at the start of last season. Good footballer, Jaden Gildea. He could be a good one this year. Theo White had a difficult season. Was in and out of the team because we had such a lot of midfielders. So he came in and out. But actually, was absolutely first class. One of the best scholars I work with. Leroy up front. Halabi scored. I think he scored 25 goals this season. Missed 55, but scored 25. Again, a player who could come through. He could be one of the ones who, because he scores goals. He scores goals you don't think he should score from nowhere, and it's a good trait to have. Yeah. And then we've got a couple of wide players in Jack Conway, who's a lefty, Henry Woods, who came from Southampton at the end of last season, the season before, didn't get off his scholarship, so he moved up here and he's in digs with us now. He's a centre forward stroke midfielder, so we've got those. So out of 10, I mean, we've got 10 who, at the minute as we are, feel have a chance. Louis, the goalkeeper, he couldn't get through those doors. He's a giant. He's 6'4", something like that. Big lad. But again, it's early stages for them. This is their season now. This is where they've got 6 months, 5 months, 4 months to prove that they're worth a deal by the manager. And unfortunately, it's that cutthroat. This is it. We're at the point now where end of season reviews, they were told, as you come back, you've got to be ready, because day one of pre-season, you might train with the first team, and that might be the impact or the time that the manager sees you and thinks yes or no, and that's where they've got to be. And unfortunately, that's how it works, because they reach a point where there's your chance. You've had your chance. Next, you've had your chance. That's how it works, and it's not a nice industry to do it in, or not a nice industry, but that's how it has to be. So,
lastly, Pat, before you do your shirt giveaway, what are your hopes for next season?
First team or
just yourself?
Generally, myself. I would like to see hopefully some of our young pros, the ones who've left us, and some of the younger ones can get in the first team or in the squad. I'd like to see that. I'd like to see the first team not leave it till the last day of the season to keep themselves up. Make it a little bit sooner, probably like December would be nice, to be safe by December. And overall, just want to see the young players go and enjoy themselves, and work hard, enjoy their training, but understand, get their eye on the target, which is to get towards the senior setup.
Yeah, I believe you have a question for the followers for the shirt
I do.
giveaway, which I'll go and get now.
Yes, do. The question I have for this signed shirt, which was from the Mark Stinson era, which was 2009, I think, the playoff final.
Yeah.
Thank you very much, sir. This is a shirt that we've somehow fell in my possession. It's got a lot of the signatures on there from the lads who were involved in the game then. And the question I'd like to ask is, to anybody, now it was difficult because I couldn't remember the answer, so I scored the grand total of 2 goals for Gillingham, and that's proper goals, not own goals. They don't count. Can you tell me who they were against and what the result was in the game and what kind of goal they were? Okay, so can you tell me the 2 games they were in? So I've given it away, I didn't score them both in the same game. Can you tell me what kind of goals they were and what the scoreline was in both games? And this could be yours.
In order to enter, you have to like the video, be subscribed to the Last Walks blog, and please comment your answer below. The right answer will have to be subscribed to the Last Walks blog and to be like the video in order to win that shirt. Thank you for watching. Keep liking, keep subscribing, and massive thanks to Mark Patterson for joining us today. As ever, thanks to Reece and Josh for joining us. Like I said, keep liking, keep commenting, keep subscribing. Up the Gills.
Cheers, Patty.
You're welcome. Thank you very much.
Cheers, pal.
Cheers.
Cheers,
Thank you. Good luck with the shirt.